Hello everyone. Today I'll be going through how our app Expensr works. So right now you can see that it's the dashboard which will contain all the information from the different sections or functions, features from our app. So here you can see a total balance, as well as all quick action buttons, which we'll go through later, as well as the budget, saving goals, debts, spending by category, the shared expenses, recent transactions, and upcoming recurring expenses. So these features can be chosen or customized under the settings feature, which you can see over here. So as of right now, there's appearance, notification, and customization. For the appearance, we have not successfully done it yet, but we'll hope to do so in milestone 3. As for notifications, straightforward. Next, we have customization, which is where what I was talking about earlier. So here you can see a dashboard customization, and here you can indicate what you want to be shown in the dashboard. As you can see, everything is visible right now. And earlier on, I did mention about the quick actions. So you can only choose up to 4, and you can choose which ones are the ones that you use more often, and hence you choose them to do the quick action. So right now, if I go back to the dashboard, you can see that it has changed. Moving on to transactions. Here is where you add your daily expenses. So for example, I've added a Grab home, or I've added a movie expense, a gift expense. So how we add is through the plus button at the bottom. And as you can see here, it's quite straightforward. Key in the amount, enter optional description, and for the date, you can choose accordingly the month, the year, and everything, as well as the category. So for example, I do this. And at the bottom, you can see that there is a type where you can choose between expense and income. So right now, you'll say transaction added successfully, and it's at the top, no description. And we also have our AI receipt scanner. So right now, I'll show you an example of how it works. So it will obtain all the information needed from the receipt, as you can see over here, amount, description, the date, as well as automatically filling in the category, which is good. So save. Okay, moving on to recurring expense. So this feature is with the purpose of, for example, monthly subscription fees, as you can see from like Disney Plus or Grab Premium. So this would serve as a reminder to users so that they don't forget to do their monthly payment. So adding it is straightforward as well. Key in the amount, description, for example, YouTube Premium, and choose category, entertainment, start date. And at the bottom, you can see that there's a repeat every, which is the frequency of these expenses. So because this is a monthly thing, I'll just pick 1 and months. If it happens every 2 weeks, I would just key in 2 and then key in weeks, for example. So as you can see at YouTube Premium, it'll show that the next due date is this, which I left it there just now. And if I press mark as paid, which shows that I've already done my payment and I want to indicate it as such, I'll press it and it'll show me the next due date, which is 2 weeks later. And if I want to delete this expense, pressing this button, and it's gone. Moving on to split bills. So this is similar to the purpose of this function is so that users can easily figure out what or who owes how much for a certain shared expense. So for example, you go out for a meal, you're able to use this to calculate who owes what overall. So if I press the plus, straightforward again, key in the description, for example, lunch, and then I key in the expense amount, 30 for example. And as you can see, how we will separate the participants involved will be either through a comma or a new line. In this case, I'll use a new line, and then I'll just use people's names, James, Jack. Then I can choose to split the remaining amount evenly, which will then bring me to the bottom and shows how much each of us owes individually. Oops, sorry. So that is one way. The other way is to key it manually. So for example, I do the same thing, lunch, and then $30. And then instead of pressing split remaining evenly, I press add participants. So this is how much I would add for myself. And here right now the words are a bit too light. So we'll adjust that. Then I'll put 10. Then this is optional. As it says paid amount, which is, for example, maybe some people have already contributed. So this is an optional tab that you can add in. But so right now I'll put 0 and add participant. And you can see my name appears at the bottom. And same thing, I'll add the next person, for example, Jack. And I put in 20. Add participant. And it shows 30. Then I create your expense. And as you can see, it appears as lunch. So on this page is after we've created this entry. So to settle up, all users need to do is to press the settle button, or they can individually settle. For example, I settle for myself. So I paid, and if I press settle all, everybody has settled. Then I can also choose to edit over here, which brings me back to the edit page, as well as delete this entry. Straightforward. Moving on to budget planning. So this is where users would like to set limits on how much they want to spend for different categories. And right now you can see that I've set some for entertainment, food, and transport. And all these would link up with the transaction page. And whatever transactions you add, based on category, they also keep track over here in the budgets. So if I go back to transactions, you can see that food, I have spent 1860. Yep. Then I bring it back to budget planning. You can see that it says budget of 500 for food, and I spent 1860. So this will also help to keep track, like help users to keep track of how much more they can spend for this particular category. So how to add these budgets. For example, if I look at the next month, so this will carry on as well using the same values. Then I add new budget, for example, maybe investments. I want to invest in stock market, so I put in $200. Oh, sorry. Yep. So it appears at the bottom as investments and as a budget of 200. So moving on to savings goal. This is a smaller feature where users can indicate what something that is not of the main category. So for example, a more specific goal or expense in mind, like for example, a new laptop. So they can use this feature to keep track of the expense or savings, sorry. So as you can see here, I've already created one that says new laptop. So here you can see the information, the target of $2,000, and I've currently saved 1.8K, and I've set a deadline of 1st August before school starts. So you can see that there is the progress bar, which is shows green, there's 90%, and as well as the remaining amount of $200. So when I want to show that I have added money to this goal of mine, I simply press add funds. And for example, I saved up another $100. Then it'll change the save value to 1,900 and the remaining value to $100 left to complete this goal. If I want to change the goal, I simply have to press edit button and change anything that needs to be changed. And going back to how to add these savings. So for example, I want to create I want a new watch. So I say I also want a new watch. So I would say maybe $1,000. And I set it for November, 1st November. Yep. So it appears at the top. And if I delete this entry, that's pretty simple. Moving on to the debt calculator. So this is something that maybe we won't have as much of use as students right now, but it's also something critical for maybe students that already want to BTO or are already taking up loans for other purposes. So this is more of a helping tool that's not really used much often, but it is useful. So how you create this debt calculator would be entering the debt name. So for example, credit card bill, and then amount of maybe you borrow a loan of $1,000 at an interest rate of 8. Then sometimes there's a minimum monthly payment, so let's say $100. So pressing that, you create the entry at the top, as you can see. So already you can see that it says you just need 11 months to pay off, and you have to pay an additional interest of $38. So when I enter in, you can see that there is a spreadsheet that shows you the breakdown of the payments as well as accumulated interest all the way till you finish your payment. And also there's a sidebar that's it above that indicates try a custom monthly payment. So here you can use the sidebar to choose maybe want to pay 165 instead. And then you can see that the spreadsheet adjusts accordingly, and the number of months to pay off this debt is $7. And if anything, you can edit this this entry as well as delete it using the buttons at the top. So one bug that we noticed was that when you key in a very large number, as you can see at the bottom, or Starbucks, the moment I press onto it, it will crash and give an error of invalid array. So this is one feature that we will be working on and hopefully fix it by milestone 3. And lastly, we do have the financial insights. So this is where users can have a better understanding of their spending patterns and their behavior. So we have categorized it under week, month, and year, as you can see here. So this would give a comprehensive understanding of where users have spent more of their money in. As you can see, category breakdown, it shows how much we spend each category, spending over time across the weeks, recurring expenses, they do note here, as well as these personal insights. So moving on to settings. Previously, I've already touched on the dashboard customization. I'll move on to the other two. Moving on, I'll be touching on customized drawer. So customized drawer would allow you to reorder the drawer items, which is these items in the sidebar. And also next we have edit categories. So here, as you can see, is entertainment, food, housing. All these are the categories that you see when you try to create a new transaction, create a new budget or savings. So these are the categories. So it's up to the users to decide what kind of categories they want to use, and they can edit and delete as they want to. Yep. And so that is the functionality of our app. And I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you.